Please.
Testing.
Testing.
Jim, where is your microphone?
We're sharing it right here. Am I quiet?
Okay. Yeah, you're a little quiet.
A bit closer to Martha.
You can have it. I'm not.
Hi, Martha.
Hi, Chris.
I'll get it closer to us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Everybody's in. Is everybody ready to go?
You're welcome.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the regular trustee meeting for December 7th, 2021 to order at 3:32 p.m. Roll call, please.
Kalina.
Here.
Augustine. Here. Perk.
Here.
Stand for the pledge.
And stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. We have a busy agenda. Try to get through it as expeditiously as possible. And so with that, I'd like to start off with the fire department.
Yep, thank you. Request.
Minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Let me do the.
No.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of 11/16/2021, regular trustee meeting minutes of 11/16/2021. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Colleen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right. Request resolutions enter in a one-year contract with ESO Emergency Response Systems for 2022 in the amount of $2,741.14. This is our annual contract that we use for all our fire and incident reporting software. Also logs in our training and fire inspections. It is the everything that's done in the fire department is somehow connected to this. And then it goes to the state of Ohio each month for submitting, and then that data goes to the national reporting in DC.
Very good. So moved.
Moved. Wait a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Colleen. Any further discussion, trustees? I have a real quick question.
Sure.
ESO, is that one company of many companies that
Yeah, they're starting to buy
who around here is using ESO?
almost everybody.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
And they don't interact or anything, like we don't interact, but everything from dispatch comes into, actually populates from our dispatch center.
Understood. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Oh, you know what? It's a resolution. We'll have to do a roll call.
It's a resolution.
Resolution?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Kalina.
Yes.
Augustine.
Yes.
Perk.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you.
Request appropriations for $100 for the annual membership to NEOFPA for Assistant Chief Gervasi. It's the Ohio Fire Prevention Association. This is where he goes once a month for training, and it's a good resource for if we have fire inspection questions. If he needs to talk, there's plenty of people. It's actually, if he can't go, we're able to send another representative that's a fire inspector. Myself or Tom Kohler can go.
You want to do them both together?
Sure. Yeah. Next is request appropriations, $175 for our annual membership to the NFPA for Assistant Chief Gervasi. This is actually the National Fire Protection Association, our Prevention Association. I'm sorry. This is actually our department membership. This has the access to us to access all the fire codes nationally. So when there's an inspection or something comes up or we need to look at a standard in the fire service, we have digital access to that.
Very good. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Motion has passed.
Next is request appropriations for $450 for the Advanced Wilderness Life Support AWLS course through the Cuyahoga Valley Park, February 11th through the 13th, 2022 for firefighter paramedic Darcy Clutter. This is wilderness rescue. It'll affect, obviously benefit us with all the woods. Yeah.
Thank
Sorry.
you, Chief.
No, that's fine.
We were moving along.
I know that's
Any further discussion?
no.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Thank you.
Request amend motion for March 16th for W.W. Williams for the annual inspection and pump service of engine 31 from $12.95 to $13.16.21. They just had, it was additional fluids and stuff they needed, nuts and bolts, or when they do the servicing. So it was just a couple bucks more.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Seconded.
And Chief, there were some questions about that cost online. Can you provide any additional information on that?
What do you mean?
There was just some residents that were questioning the dollar amount, that it was that expensive.
That is our annual, so that is the actual, that's our certification of our pump that has to be done annually. That is all the fluids, that is all the servicing, full PM. That's also involving our ladder testing as well on our fire ladders on the engine. So that covers everything in one spot.
Very good. Thank you for sharing.
And the company doing that is accredited.
Yeah, it's accredited. We have to be certified. They have to be, anything on pumps related has to be done through a accredited national, the NFPA standard for fire pump technicians, or whatever the standard's called.
Cost of that too.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Next is rescind the motion from October 19th for car parts for the $165. This is the fog light mounts for the command vehicle. They found a error in their online computer system that actually the parts we ordered do not fit what they sent is not the right parts. They actually don't have those parts made yet. So next year we're gonna have to try and find something. So we returned them and their credit's coming. So I just want to rescind the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Rescind the motion from November 16th for turnout gear boots for firefighter paramedic Higginbotham.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Request to accept the resignation firefighter paramedic Kurt Higginbotham effective immediately.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Say aye.
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 Or no. All and everyone's unanimous. Thank you. Motion carries.
Request a 3-month leave of absence for firefighter EMT Jessica Roberts. She was in a bad car accident, has a bunch of surgeries going on. I don't think she'll be coming back in the 3 months, but we're hoping. But I think it sounds like it could be a very long-term recovery for her. She had a surgery yesterday. It was her second one in a week on her legs that got screwed up in the accident.
Well, we wish her the best.
Yep,
and
absolutely,
we are
yes.
definitely praying for her. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then I'm going to do the last one of swearing in last so we can get through a couple items that are not on there. So the last meeting was, Melissa, when the resident called and said about the printer. So we were looking at a copier printer for the fire station through the same company that does the township here. The resident said, hey, that's an obsolete or on the verge of becoming obsolete printer. We had already talked to OBM and had a contract working with them, or we were looking at a service agreement with them. We reached back out to the company that provides it. He told us, oh no, that printer's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And then Jen emailed him several questions going, hey, what about this, this, and this? And he never responded back. She reached out again. He's never responded back.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, I like to go with the OBM printer. Let me find where you guys have the whole paperwork, I believe, in there.
Last
Yep.
one on there.
Yeah, it's a monthly service agreement for $134.06. It's actually a lot better printer from what Jen and I researched than what we were going to get. Currently, our printer it needs to be updated. There's numerous issues with the printer for us trying to make copies.
Yeah, we are grateful to that resident for bringing it to
Yes.
our attention.
Yep,
Is there a term to this?
it's a 60-month,
Mm-hmm.
5 years.
5 years.
Mm-hmm. Which was much more feasible than the last agreement as well.
Yeah, yep.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Is that a resolution, Martha? Or is that just a?
So the terms are it's a 60-month lease plus the additional copies?
Yes, it's a request for resolution, what Jen has here, entered into a 60-month lease with OBM, Ohio Business Machine.
Oh, I don't have that.
Check your, I'm sorry, no, I didn't give you a copy of that one.
I have this.
Yeah, nope, that's it. Printer costs not to exceed $140 a month. $104 a month will be charged for the lease, including 1,250 black and white clicks and 157 color clicks. Additional clicks will be billed at a cost of .01 for black and white and .08 for color clicks. The printer will replace the outdated and malfunctioning copy machine that's in the administrative office.
Do we want to do the 60 month or the 39 month, which is $30 more a month?
No, I see that. No, I-
Oh, the resolution. I'm sorry. Yep.
Read the resolution.
Yep.
That is what I need.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
Can I
at
give you
right
that right
now.
back? Because I got one other thing to read off it.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, okay.
What do you want me to?
I just want to make sure
Okay,
it
very
makes
good.
sense.
Okay, very good.
So are you sure that you're never going to exceed $140 a month?
Yes.
You're never going to print more than $5.94 over what your fee is $134.
I don't see us doing that.
So what I would do is I would make a resolution with your monthly copier fee,
Mhm.
your included fee for service and supply, and then your additional copies. Just keep this line out of there.
Okay,
That's all.
so I make the request for resolution.
Hold on 1 second. Do we want to do the 60 month or the 39 month? The 39 month is $30 more a month. Are you seeing the two sides?
Yes. The 60 month is what we were looking at.
Okay, then, okay.
It's $1,500 difference over that 5-year period.
Mhm.
Substantial.
Well, it's $1,170 difference if you look at the 39 months,
Right,
which is the term of the first
Mhm.
contract.
Mhm.
If you're looking at 3.5 years,
right.
it would cost you an additional $1,170 to go
Versus
that route.
1,500.
But you're stuck with that machine for an additional 21 months
Mhm.
beyond. that
Yeah,
date
we can do the 39.
That's what I would
Yeah,
recommend.
let's do the 39 month then.
Be a little more feasible.
So then the request for resolution to enter into a 39-month lease with OBM for Sharp MX-C304W printer at a cost of 109.
Don't add it up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just, recite them just like they are.
The $109 you said, and then the
Service and supply, an additional $25.
the additional $25.
And costs for the additional copies.
Okay, and then the .01 for each black and white click and the .08 for each color click.
For a total amount of $134.06.
Well, no, you're just breaking down, it may vary.
Okay.
That's how the township
Okay.
is. The
Okay.
township bill varies every month. So does yours.
Can I jump in with this really quick? So we have the minimum that there's a minimum that we're going to get charged each month. And that is the $12.50 for black and white and the $12.56 for color copiers. So the minimum each month is $25.06 that we're going to get charged. That's part of the service agreement that comes with the contract. So that's why we were asking for the not to exceed, because we did not think that we would go over very often 1,300.
We outline the prices and do it as such.
Perfect.
Don't worry. about
Okay,
it.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay, thanks.
The flexibility.
perfect. Thank you.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved, seconded, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Oh, it's a resolution.
Resolution.
Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Bird?
Yes.
So the next item that I have is good news. The engine that we listed on Gov Deals sold. We had a reserve of $15,000. It ended up selling for $25,100.
That's great.
So is that a resolution to accept the purchase on Gov Deals of our fire engine for $25,100, and it was sold to the Union Township Fire Department.
What is the fee for Gov Deals?
That's covered underneath. The buyer covers it. Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Bird?
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I was very, very happy that sold. And there was a bidding war the last like 5-10 minutes of it, which was great.
Well, like you said, it paid for the command car.
Yeah, yep, exactly. The last item is to request to hire Daytona, Stiglmeyer, did I say that right? Stiglmeyer at a rate of $14.35 per hour for a 1-year probationary period on a contingent that she passes her background and physical, which is already scheduled as we did last month, the other new ones.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Would you like to swear her in?
Yes,
Mrs. Augustine?
come on up, Daytona. Daisy. is her name.
Stop up here. You ready for pictures?
I'm taking pictures. Yep. Jen's not here, so.
All right, I'm gonna have you raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Over here, Martha.
I state your name.
I, Daytona,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of volunteer fireman for Hinckley Township
of volunteer fireman for Hinckley Township
in Medina County, State of Ohio,
in Medina County, State of Ohio,
during my service in the fire department.
during my service in the fire.
Congratulations. Welcome to Hinckley.
Thank you.
All right.
The only other thing I would say is we did our boot drive the Sunday of Thanksgiving, and the association raised just over $3,700 for the community and our senior gift bag and families in Hinckley.
And you have a parade coming.
Parade the 18th. The route is almost finalized. We had a couple residents message us asking, can we be thrown on? So we're kind of rerouting things to try and make it so it's all one. The guys are currently building a sleigh on the back of a trailer for Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll look like a fire truck. We're gonna have hose on the back. They got old pump panel gauges from a junkyard, and they got nozzles from collectors and all that. So it'll look like a fire truck.
Because Santa and Mrs. Claus were having a hard time getting up.
Yes,
out of the
yep,
fire truck
yep.
Last year.
Yep.
That's great. Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you very much.
And I have these papers for you
Perfect.
as well.
Thank you.
Does anyone have questions for Chief Grossenbaugh before he departs?
I gotta work.
Thank you, Chief. Get some sleep too when you get a
I
chance.
hope so. Thank you guys very much.
Take care.
All right. Thank
You
you,
too.
guys.
Thank you.
Daisy, thank you for being here this evening.
Yes.
Welcome to Hinckley.
Thank you.
All right. That's it for fire.
Chief,
Good evening.
good evening. How are you?
Take care, guys.
Good, thank you. I have two items. Request to rescind the motion and approval from the November 16th, 2021 meeting to hire Robert Gabriel as a full-time patrolman. His status will remain as a part-time patrolman.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Before you is the request for board approval for the 2022 Employee Assistance Program through Assist Now for all Hinckley Township employees at a total cost of $1,450.
Now, is this a resolution, Martha?
Nope.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
One last item, Saturday is our Shop with a Cop program. We will be hosting 50 young folks from the Hinckley, Granger, and Sharon Township communities on Saturday morning.
And you're going to be flipping pancakes.
I'll be cooking sausage and flipping pancakes. So
Thank you for doing that.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Chief.
that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa, do they have enough wrappers and presents that have been done yet? Has that already been
I
done?
think that's Friday.
Most of it's done.
I think
it?
I'm going to shout out to the public. Who's in charge of that? Because I thought they were looking for help to wrap presents. Do you know anything about it?
I do not.
The Women's Club was helping as well as some of the wives from our officers. So I believe it's
So if you're interested, contact the Hinckley Women's Club. Find out if they still need help out there.
Oh, you know what? They don't. Patty Fontaine emailed me and said that they were good.
Okay, never mind.
So when I come in, I'm just going to be wherever you guys need me.
Very good. I rescind that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay. Mr. Bahari, how are you?
Good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Thank you for being here.
First thing I have is to request for appropriations to purchase crack sealant and no tracks from DJL Material and Supply, Inc. at a cost of $9,117.50.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Thank you.
All right. Second thing on my list is the Perk Balustrade payment update. We had to do a change order of removing monuments and installation at a fee of $2,000 for a total revised cost of $177,416.58.
Is that a motion, Martha? So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Anyone else want to discuss this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Anything else?
That's all I have for now.
Stick around. We've got conversations
Thank
later.
you.
Please. Thank you. Zoning have anything?
I do actually. I had a wonderful, I'll call it a transition meeting with our incoming administration. We spent some time talking about around a dozen current zoning matters that are occurring right now in Hinckley Township and brought them up to speed on those. And so I was very impressed with both of them, and they had good questions about the processes and how things are going. So that was myself and Tom Zblotny and Tom Wilson. And so looking forward to having them on board. And they now are up to speed on what's happening zoning wise here in Hinckley Township.
Thank you for doing that, Trustee.
So I greatly appreciated their time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any further zoning matters?
No, I have plenty more, but they're after the cemetery.
That's fine. We'll get to
There's a
the-
list, Jim.
I knew that. I just want to know if he was covered in that, what he wanted to cover tonight. So on cemeteries, we have several deeds to approve, and we're going to need witnesses for that. So I get somebody to step up to be a witness, 2 people actually. That'd be great. We have 2 grave sites for, looking for the name, Mr. Zamitis, actually 4 grave sites for Mr. Zamitis on the deed. Do a sign, and that's actually in here. Melissa, can you pull these out for them while I speak to these other ones? And then
Well, I think we need to sign before they witness, so.
that's fine. And then we have 1 grave site for Mr. Flom and 1 grave site for Mr. DeCello. Excuse me, yeah, 1 grave site for Mr. DeCello. Total 6.
You want to sign, we'll alternate here.
Okay, 2 witness.
Thank you for stepping up to witness these.
We're working on it.
That's a lot. Bear with me, Trustee Kalina.
That's the most for me.
There's 1 more coming your way. And then once they sign, we'll have you.
Finish that.
Thank you, gentlemen.
More.
Mhm.
Someday somebody will look at these. I'll see your name on there, Carl.
Yeah, one more, don't do it.
He's done. He's done signing checks.
There you go, Jack. It's like these are on sale. It is actually, I think it's a very fair price.
I'm going to have you pass these. That is very fair.
Oh, you know what? There are several. We have Maple Hill, we have Beach.
Yeah, they're different locations.
There's a lot of ones.
No idea. There's one final one. Thank you.
I would think so, honestly. if you're Planning ahead.
Grandfather, my rest of my family's.
Okay. All squared away?
I
All
believe
squared
so. I
away.
just want to make sure there's 6.
Yeah, make sure they're all the signatures are on all of them.
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen. That's squared away, Jim.
Thank you. I'm looking for one page here. Make sure I got it. Okay. So the next subject on the agenda is again a cemetery matter. We've been working on an indigent burial policy and an application for an indigent person or a family member to claim the remains of an indigent person. And so I'd like to make at this time a motion to the board to adopt an indigent burial resolution in an indigent burial policy application as submitted into the record. You have copies of this. This is something we've been discussing. It's been vetted by the prosecutor. Today, they accepted all those changes that were made and we talked about. And so you have a final copy. We'll be signing the resolution. We will not be signing the application. That will be done when an applicant signs, fills it out, returns it to the board reviews it, and then decides whether or not to proceed as an indigent burial.
Very good. I did speak with a resident who I shared her name and phone number with, Suzanne Peterlin, who's our sexton.
Okay.
She has urns that she has made, and she said that if we had anyone who is in need, no matter what that need is, she would offer them for free. So I've given her that contact information.
Thank you very much.
That was Miss Deborah Burris.
So
Oh, she's wonderful.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she is.
Mhm.
Very gifted.
Mhm.
any further discussion on this matter before I make formal this resolution request for the board?
No,
No.
appreciate all your
I
efforts
was
on
just going to
this.
say, yeah.
Yeah, so another one of those long policy things that drags out. So if that's the case, can I have a second on this resolution, motion for resolution?
Second.
Seconded, any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Selena,
Yes.
Augustine.
Yes.
Burke.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Here's the resolution to be signed. I'll put that into the folder here so Suzanne can get hold of it and file it.
You've been busy.
So have you. Doesn't slow down, does it?
Did you want Martha to sign it while we?
Oh, yeah,
sign
sure.
it?
Yeah. Yeah, Martha. Thank you. Mr. Kalina, that's all I have for the cemeteries. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Yes, I have a number of updates for the board. The first one is regarding the comprehensive plan grant, and there was a memorandum that was actually dated December 7th of 2021, and this was a recommendation that is from Denise Testa, the Director of Planning. Denise and I had worked on this together, and this was sent to the Board of Medina County Commissioners. And basically, I was explaining to the board what the township is planning on doing regarding the comprehensive plan. And that was to start with an audit of the comprehensive plan, incorporating fiscal responsibility and providing flexibility for the final product. The first task will be to review the existing plan, identify elements of the community that have changed, understand key issues and opportunities, and conduct workshops to solicit community feedback on key elements needing updating. Once elements are identified, a memorandum will outline findings and recommendations for the updated plan. After confirmation of these updates, identification of next steps to address issues and timelines will be developed. And the Board of County Commissioners did approve our grant
Wonderful.
today,
That's
so we will
great.
receive $3,500 in support of the comprehensive plan. So that will help offset the cost to that. And I have been in communication with moving on from that. So
Just a minute, Chris.
Yes.
Martha, do we have to do anything to accept that $3,500 at this point?
I know that you made a motion to apply for the grant. quite a
We
while
did.
ago. So I think that's how will that come to us and when will it?
I don't know. I spoke with Denise. It was just very brief and that we were approved.
Okay. I think you're good to go.
Thank you for your work on it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's,
thank you. This is
It'll help a lot.
very exciting.
that's
Yes.
significant. Thank
Yes,
you.
that will offset that cost tremendously. And the next one is I do have an updated contract. It's not ready to execute today. My goal is to have all these things wrapped up by the end of the month. So we've been
Thank
trying
you.
to move things forward. Regarding OHM, I have an updated contract, and the contract outlines the timeline. And that timeline now would conclude as of April 29th of 2022. So that gets everything in line for the comprehensive process to begin very soon.
In January.
Now, yes, and there were, so I sent this to Mr. Richter. Mr. Richter reviewed it, and their contract had, as you can see, lots of changes to the contract. So I sent that back to OHM. They went through their legal team, and they are in agreement with all of the changes from the prosecutor's office except for two, and their rationale seemed to make sense to me. So that went back to Mr. Richter. Him and I played phone tag today because I've been in meetings all day, and so I will wait. But my goal is to have this contract ready for us to execute at our next meeting.
Okay.
And I feel very confident that will happen because we're close
Right.
Good.
Thank
on
you.
that. Just a couple of sticking points on who we're allowed to sue. Not planning on suing anybody, just to let you know, but that's kind of where some of the sticking points are on who, if Arthur gets sued or the firm gets sued. So
Somebody's
we
gotta
certainly
get
wouldn't
sued.
want to sue Arthur. He seems like a very nice guy. I've got to know him very well over the past 6 months. So zoning updates. The preliminary plan for Kabbalah Farm was reviewed by the zoning commission at their last meeting, and that was preliminarily approved. And that's just to share with the public, that's a preliminary plan. There are things that they will have to do in order to move forward with that plan. Some of those things that they will have to do is provide the township with a downstream water study, because that was one of the requests that we had that was also approved by the Medina County Planning Commission. And they're also going to have to continue working with the health department in terms of ensuring the viability of the lots that are platted. What we approved was essentially the layout of the subdivision and the lots which meet Hinckley Township zoning. So that is where things are at with Kabbalah Farm. Discount Drug Mart has applied for a conditional use request, and that request is, and I will just say that this is I'm going to preface any discussion about Drug Mart by just being upfront that this will be heard by our Zoning Board of Appeals, and that is a quasi-judicial board. So I will not be able to share any information other than what the facts are. I can't answer any questions or provide any other input to the residents about that because that will all be discussed at the public hearing. But I will just state that they have made an application. It's in the B1 district, and we allow 12,000 square foot or less in an enclosed structure. And they have applied for 28,000 square foot building on 5 acres. So that will be heard. They have also applied for a drive-through window that's also a conditional use. And that will be heard on December 22nd. So anybody that's interested in learning more about that, providing any input or comment, can attend that public hearing.
That's at 6:30 p.m. I believe the regular meeting follows.
Yes, that I do have that down as being 6:30 p.m. And then their regular meeting will be at 7 p.m.
Very good.
And
Thank you.
because of some extenuating circumstances, I'm going to make a recommendation that we extend the application deadline for the alternate zoning commission position.
I agree with that completely.
Likewise.
And I would say we should extend that to our next meeting's on the 21st.
Yes.
I would say the 17th. Does that sound sufficient for everyone? Next Friday?
10 days, yeah. See what
And then
happens.
do you want to kind of have Suzanne plan on starting that interview process the week of the 20th? Or the 20th?
Yeah, maybe we should go on a week. Should we go to the 14th? And then
I think that would be
and
a
then
better idea.
I think so too, actually. So we should probably go with the 14th and try to interview as quickly as possible.
Mhm. I agree with that.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
I will make a motion to extend the alternate zoning commission position deadline for applications to December 14th at midnight.
And do we want to make it just a zoning commission application?
I think we want to just make that for the zoning
Zoning
commission.
commission
Yes, just in
application.
general.
Okay, so moved.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And Jana King and I have not been able to get in contact yet with Ms. King. They've been great to work with, and they've been extremely responsive when we needed them. So my recommendation is to continue using their services for the upcoming year. They did send us an email, which I didn't quite understand. So I just wanted to find out what the, yeah.
Don't we have a multi-year contract?
I thought we had a 3 or 5 year contract, if I remember
think we just
correctly.
renewed it a couple years ago. If I'm not, did they email you about a price increase?
No, they did not. No.
What did it say?
Well, I'm
It was
trying to.
confusing.
It was confusing. And so, Suzanne and I talked about it and we were both confused. And so that's where we're at. So I just wanted to find out if the board was also as satisfied as I am with their services. And if so, then I will continue that conversation
Yes, they've been
with them.
wonderful. We've had them for many years and they do a nice job.
It would be the start of the third year, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't
Yeah, I think so.
recall.
That's from the 20th, January 7th, 2020.
Yeah.
2020
January 7th, 2020, our organizational meeting.
organizational meeting.
It doesn't tell you how long we extended it.
I remember Ray talking.
Okay,
about
Martha, are you ready? Okay. Hello, Chris and Suzanne. Hope all is well with you and your family. I wanted to let you know that today is 90 days for renewal of the contract. Please let me know anything we can do to help.
What's the date on that?
That was Wednesday.
90 days take us into like March, February.
Well, they maybe that's their renewal period and they honor.
Yeah.
No, they didn't send the contract. I mean, they didn't send me anything. So,
Ray always handled that.
He did.
I'm not real clear, but
Maybe Suzanne.
if
or
you're
you
happy
can
with their
call.
service, I would just renew the contract for 2022 and then what
I'm
they
happy
do
with
is
the
they
service.
just update the billing. There's a small, I think a 3.5% increase on that. You're good with them, right?
I could not be happier
Yeah.
with their
You
service.
want to wait until the next, do it the last?
yeah,
time?
let's do that. I just wanted to find out how the rest of the board felt before pursuing that, and everyone's in agreement. So I will follow up with Jennifer, and we'll go from there.
The date's clarified, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kleina.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, trying to get everything wrapped up.
Thank you.
Chris, do you have an address for Cabela Farm?
Oh, yes. That property is located just down the street from here on Route 303. It's right next to the elementary school.
You start dropping down the hill. It's a big.
Start dropping down the hill, right?
The elementary school?
No,
No, it's a
No.
couple properties away
It's
from that.
separated. You'll see a for sale sign and maybe pending
Okay,
big
so you
sign.
know, so-
You know, it's the farm that's right there.
Okay.
more toward the top.
Side farm and usual.
It's a large farm.
It is a large farm, and it meets the
87
2
acres?
acre.
It does. And actually, they had provided a preliminary plan not to Hinckley Township, but they had provided one to the county, to the planning commission. And that gave the township the ability to comment on that. And I had some follow-up dialogue with the applicant as well regarding the, we'll say, creative interpretation of some of our zoning. And they agreed to amend their plan and remove some of the questionable lots that were created. And so they moved the streets. They actually moved both streets. They eliminated a couple of the lots. They increased some of the lot sizes on the property. And so they really followed our initial recommendations that we had provided to them. The overall density of that would now be, it's a little over 3 acres for an average lot size in there, but some of the lots are 7 acres. So they're decent sized lots that they put in there.
Okay, just looking for an address. Thank you.
Just down the street. It's, it's the Kabbalah property. It's the Kabbalah farm.
It's the one with the big sign that says 87 acres pending.
Yes.
It's been that way for
It's been that way for quite some time.
Thank you.
And again, that's they received a preliminary. They have some things they have to do before they would approach the township with a final.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your question.
Trustee Augustine.
About 3 weeks ago, we had a special meeting before our last regular meeting where we met with Labella Architecture Firm and we went through the contract for the police station addition. I've given this a lot of thought over the course of the last 3 weeks, and I've spoken with Chief Setner at length about it. The approximate cost that we were given by Labella was $1,740,000. That far exceeds what our budgeted amount was for this project. We had approximately $1 million. We foresaw it going a little bit over, but costs of construction are very high right now. And I think in order to be fiscally responsible, I would recommend that we hold off on moving forward with this project at this time.
I agree. Wholeheartedly, I agree. The costs, I dropped my jaw when I hear $1.7 million. In the vein of keeping Hinckley small and community oriented, what's $1.7 million buying us? It's a really large police station.
Right.
That, does that fit the atmosphere that we're trying to build here? I'm supportive of abandoning this for tabling it for now.
I would agree. Chief Senator and I had a great conversation about this. We spoke after the last meeting as well and talked about long-term planning and short-term needs for the department. And so I concur with that, with putting this on hold at this point in time.
Right. And that's, we've had this conversation multiple times where we've said the number one thing that this police department wants to do is protect our town. And so that means staffing needs come before building needs. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I think we're all on the same page with it.
Very good.
I'm still very much in favor of entertaining and renovation to some portion of this building, or office space or parking or both.
Noted.
Might be a lot less expensive option in the end. Okay. Anything else on that one?
No, nothing else on
No
that one.
motions required?
Nope, we're just going to hold off. We haven't signed a contract with Labella. We have a great contract if we decide to move forward at some point.
Terrific. Thanks.
The Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee selection. Is everyone ready? Drum roll.
Now we're going to get through this. You're going to leave this?
I am. So just kind of a recap of what has been done up to this point. We sent out a application in the Hinckley record. We received, I think it was 98 applications that came in. I went through each application based on conversation here at the board and redacted the names of every applicant, and I numbered each one. I created an Excel spreadsheet that matched the number to the name so that once this is all finalized, we are able to send letters to everyone who we're grateful wanted to participate in this process.
Lots of interest.
Very great interest, wonderful answers, different outlooks. It was really refreshing. And so we each looked at the stack of 98 applications here, each one of the trustees, we pulled 15. Trustee Burns, Trustee Kalina, and myself, we gave that 15, our 15 to Suzanne. Suzanne sent it over to Chief Setner and Sergeant Schroll. Chief Setner came back and said, well, we've divvied them up for you. The top 5, all 3 trustees chose. That's the top 5. The second grouping of 5, 2 of the 3 trustees chose. So those were easy for them to pick out during the selection process. And their job was to be the unbiased third party and go through each one of the answers and make sure that we were choosing a diverse group. And so we have the last 5 that they chose based on responses. And I just wanted to make sure if you guys are going through the last 5 that you don't have any discrepancies. Maybe you say, I don't want, and I'm just using numbers. They're not the actual numbers in front of me. I don't want number 1. I want number 2. Did you have any changes that you wanted to make to this final selection?
Can you do something for me? Can you read through, let's do this to the top 10 because some of my numbers are pushed off on these.
Okay, so let me start with the top
Just
5.
read your numbers, yeah. Sure.
Okay. So the top 5 are number 6, number 19, 23, 46,
I can read, thank you.
59, and that's it for the top 5.
Okay.
The second grouping of 5
Like the lottery or something, right?
is 18, 26, 28, 48, and 63.
Okay, thank you.
And did you want me to go through the last 5?
Nope, that just clarified those numbers. So we're
Okay.
going to discuss the last 5 anyways.
Okay, so did you have any changes that you would recommend, or do you feel that the selection, the final selection that was made was an accurate and diverse group to serve in this capacity?
Get my staples out here so I can read my numbers here.
Because I have to tell you, I'm pretty confident with the last 5 based on my review of them yesterday.
Okay.
And actually, there are some in here that I was going to choose, but didn't. So it was interesting to see that. It got to the end when you had like 10 on your desk in front of you and you were choosing so cautiously.
I had a number of stacks when I went through them and spent hours, hours of time combing through them. I'm very comfortable with their recommendation. I mean, that was why that process was put in place. And I thought it was a great idea to have a third party independent review the selections and make recommendations from there. And so, Chief, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For doing
Thank
that.
you, Chief.
And thanks Sergeant Schroll as well
I will do
for
so.
his assistance in the process.
Because we spent hours and somehow they just got it done. I think probably because the first time
We
we
drank a lot of coffee one morning. I'll tell you that.
Jim, did you have anything that you wanted to?
No, I don't think so. I think having that third grouping, an independent party, probably going to appease the public.
I was impressed with all of them as a group. I really was. There's a lot of care and concern from these folks to be part of our community. So that really stood out. It was difficult on some of them.
Yeah.
Well, I feel really confident moving forward that there's this much initial interest, because when we have and get into, this is just our steering committee, but when we get into those larger group activities, I feel like we're going to really have a great cross section of Hinckley Township, not only represented by the steering committee, but as the group as a whole providing input. So I think we're going to get some great information, some great data from the community from this.
I completely agree with you. My only concern moving forward is, do we want to choose the alternates now of the last 5? Just to refresh your memory, we had said that you would serve on this steering committee with myself. We have David Manley from the Zoning Commission who will be a part of it. And then we were going to choose 12 people and 3 alternates. Do we want to pull 3 alternates and make that decision
can
while they're
tonight.
numbers?
Let's do that. For the record, why don't we read the last 5 if we're going to enter those in, so that's on the record, is what numbers you've chosen. And then let's talk about who's going to be the alternates, who can be the 2 permanent positions.
So the last 5 are 14, 4, 92, 29, and 77. And 14 is a odd one to read because it was highlighted.
Yeah, I know, I saw that one. I'd like to put forward number 92 as a permanent position on this application process.
Oh, really? That was one I was going to make an alternate.
Okay, well, let's discuss it then. Well, unless Mr. Kalina wants to chime in on 92.
Well, what are your top 3?
Well, for permanent position?
Yes. No, I'm sorry, top 2. Top 2.
29 and 92.
29 and 92. Okay.
And I am on 77, I'm on the fence about. So that
I was going to say I'd like 77 to be one of my top
okay,
2.
so that's 2 of us that could say 77.
And my second one, I'm going to say number 4. So yeah, a loop there.
Well, we got 77 there. That's that one we can kind of.
Trustee
Mr.
Kalina?
Kalina gives me a compelling reason to change my mind.
I can support 77.
Okay. And I can support 29.
Okay. Mr. Kalina, any comments on 29, or do you want to throw one forward on from your end?
Imagine doing this with 98.
I can support 29.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right, so 77 and 29 are part of the final grouping, and our alternates are 14, 4, and 92.
So the responsibility of the alternates will be to attend, but they will not necessarily have a whole lot of voting power
Unless
unless there's a person missing.
there's a person who
And then
can't make a
maybe,
meeting.
maybe in that situation, you can draw straws as to who sits in on that one when there's one person missing. I mean, how are you going to rank the 3 that are alternates?
I think I would just probably hear from all of them
Okay.
if somebody wasn't there.
As long as we know what the process is going to be.
Very good. So I will
Thank you.
coordinate a letter to send to the people that are part of the committee and also the people who did not make it to the committee. I cannot promise when that will go out, but I will work on it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Now, our alternates are going to be part of the process through and through.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right, okay.
They'll sit just like a zoning commissioner, BZA alternate to be a part of the process.
Good.
And be called up if they need to be, fill in an opening.
Right,
Absolutely.
because that's how we've always treated our alternates.
Thank you, Melissa, for
Our
doing
alternates
that.
participate.
For the public's education, eventually we'll just publish the database, numbers versus name, correct?
We can do, I mean, I have it in a database, so we can.
Well, some of us,
certainly
people
do
are going
that.
to say, what number was I?
Yeah.
And I know you're going to write letters, but
Yes, we can probably put that on the website if you'd like me to do that. I'll make
that's
note.
up to you. I just be prepared for phone calls otherwise. You got 98 possible phone calls.
I'm
Okay.
afraid that someone's going to come forward and I'm going to say,
Thank you.
hey, number 6, you were chosen. And they're going to say, oh, I thought we were just sharing our ideas.
Well, we have alternates already selected.
All right. So I will see if we can't get the spreadsheet
Thank you.
on the website and maybe we can highlight our chosen. Okay. I've got a couple more things. Bear with me here. I've got to find my notes. I'd like to make a motion to go in executive session to discuss police employment and zoning discipline
At the end of the meeting?
at the end of the meeting. Did you want me to just tack on yours as well?
Yeah, that would be to discuss compensation and.
And to discuss compensation and public employee employment. Can
All
I get a
tacked on,
second?
seconded.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion's been passed for, well, we have to roll call, but the motion is to go into executive session to discuss 3 items
At the end of
at
the
the end of the meeting, and we need roll call vote, please.
It's not a resolution.
It's a resolution.
Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes, it needs to be roll call voted, even if it's not a resolution for executive session, correct? I believe it does.
Yeah, I think so.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to amend the November 16th motion to purchase holiday wreaths not to exceed $180. It was not to exceed $150, but with inflation, our Hinckley Garden Club spent a little bit more than they normally do.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Motion seconded by Kalina. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion's carried. Thank you.
And last thing is Governor DeWine announced yesterday that there is a $250 million grant program to help local first responders fight violent crime, recruit the next generation of firefighters, EMTs, and police officers, and aid recruits and cadets with their education. My hope is that Hinckley will benefit from this in some capacity. That's all I have.
That's exciting.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Looking forward to hearing more about it.
I hope so. I might call you in to do some grant work for me.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Trustee Augustine. First thing on my agenda item is this electric vehicle charging station grant. We talked about it at the last meeting, so I could, get the permissions from you guys to do some investigation on it. It's a $7 million grant. I'll try to be brief and give you a quick oversight of what the EV is, electric vehicle charging stations. There's 3 levels of charging stations, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Inside level 2, there's commercial and residential. Level 1 is plug in a charger like your battery charger at your house that you may have for charging your car, and it might take 14 hours, 20 hours to charge your vehicle. That's not what this one's about. Level 2 residential and commercial is about taking a higher wattage charger and charging either residentially, like you'd put a higher wattage, higher power input in your house, and then commercial is putting it out in the public with maybe some kind of a swiping credit card or something to charge with. And that's not what this grant is approaching. This grant is actually looking for a level 3, which is also called a DC fast charge. It'll charge typical vehicle in 30 minutes to top it off, 45 minutes to top it off, maybe 2 hours to fully charge a dead battery. So it's a really high amperage, really high power input. And that's what this one's approaching or trying to attract some attention and some investment from our communities. The investment we would have would be a big grant, 120-page grant application. And frankly, I've read it. I've listened to the 2-hour webinar. I don't think we're going to rank very high. Number one, we have to be within 2 miles of a level 1, not level 1. Roads are classified as far as their size and their importance to a community from 1 to 7. And Interstate I-71 would be a level 1. These roads are all level 3. So level 1 is going to get the highest ranking, level 2 the second highest ranking, level 3 third highest ranking. So the roads around us in this downtown sector is level 3. That doesn't help us with ranking. Another critical component of this is that you have to have 24/7 access, 24-hour, 7-day a week, 365 access to it on the public. That's not an issue. We could do that. But the issue they want is to try to find something for those people to do while their car's topping off for, say, 30 minutes. Well, we've got Foster's Tavern. We've got potentially a cafe going down the road. We've got other, food facilities. But I think that they're looking about the people are trying to attract the people that are on the way from point A in Columbus to Cleveland or Columbus to Chardon or someplace like that. And so they want fast charges where people can get out of their car safely, go do something for a period of time, any hour of the day or the night. Looking at I-71 and 303, a facility around there would be a good place to put a DC fast charger for the public's use. So again, we're not going to rank well with that. And then one of the last things is it's 100% covered, whatever the cost is. These are averaging $22,000 for install up to $50,000, 100% covered. But the problem is I don't think we're going to rank well. It's a really big project to tackle, and we have 2 years to pull it off. It's doable that way. Question is, do we want to pursue an EV charger station here at the town hall? We have to put in a minimum of 2. Again, the cost shouldn't be an issue here. This is not a cost issue. This is, are we going to rank well enough to even get any money at all?
I guess my next question is, who pays for the power?
Right.
Well, that's the DC charge. It's a commercial, your charge card.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna charge them. You can charge them enough to cover the cost of the electricity, plus the maintenance of that unit, plus it has to be networked into an internet type network so that they're monitoring how much is who's billing and who's paying and all that. All those costs can be combined into this grant. It's pretty much all inclusive. Installation, site preparation, cleanup, and annual maintenance, and you have maintenance, so that's all included. It's kind of like a zero cost to the township, but I just don't know how well we're going to rank with all that effort put in there. I can follow up with a phone call to the grant administrators and say, here's our situation, what do you think? And they can maybe give me some heads up on, you got a low small chance of getting this grant. Plan on $25,000 minimum. These are big chargers. These are they want 100 kilowatt minimum input, and then they want two minimum stations. So you're looking at and room for 2 more in the future should you want to build out and get more grant opportunities. So we have space, we got the power, we got all of that. So we don't have some of these high scoring criteria that they're probably going to say, you're on the fence to know.
I think that you've done a fantastic job of researching it. Thank you.
I don't know what else I could do.
But I think to your point, we are kind of outside of the realm of where people can stop and comfortably.
I'd love for them to stop here and go into the local restaurants and bars and stuff like that, but we just don't have enough of that all night long, like Sheets. The stations you see are Sheets, Walmart, where else? There's several companies they're like the gas stations. They have brand names, EVgo, Blink, Tesla has Tesla's one, Mr. Pearl, Tesla has it set. So you've got these gas stations around, electric stations around. There's not too many in our area yet. There's about 3 within, say, 10 miles of here. And that's about it for a while. Then you get into Cleveland, and there might be 15 or 20.
And what is the technology? What's the lifespan? So my concern is if we put this in, will it be antiquated in 2 years?
Don't think so. They want a 5-year warranty, which can be built into the cost, whatever that 5-year warranty is. If there's a warranty to have to retrofit this, then that would be in your warranty documents. So again, it could be part of the cost covered should they change. The plug technology, while it's still changing, I think is becoming more steadfast, more fixed, correct? There are multiple plugs. Tesla has their own plug. There's 2 other plugs that I know about there, DC fast charging. We're talking about really big amps. We're talking about 100 amp inputs. Right. So I think they've finally gotten that kind of settled down a little bit. There might be a little bit more change, but it would be a retrofit to your machine.
Right. Well, if you want to call and see if you think we have a chance, it sounds like a tedious.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to be my tedious either.
And I was going to say
I was going to nominate Melissa Augustine to finish this grant. I'm teasing. That's the bad part.
That's a no.
So this is going to get dropped on one of the other trustees here, and it's going to be a lot of work.
Well, why don't we just give them the documentation? Maybe they can look into it and determine.
If you want, I can ask the administrators, here's our situation. What are you thinking? And then, you know what? The nice thing about this is there are companies out there that can quote the entire job, turnkey. Here's what we want to do. They should be familiar with this grant. It's a lot of money for a company to put in stations around here, electric stations. So they should be familiar with the grant. So they should be able to help you very quickly get the quotations to tear up the parking lot, put these things in, rebuild the parking lot, put in the transformers, tie them into the utility grid, get the permitting and all that stuff. So that part of it's easy. It's that all the other paperwork that has to get done for a grant.
I have a question.
Please.
People would be purchasing the electricity, right?
Yes.
Is that the township's business then, selling this electricity to people?
I believe so, Martha.
I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with, I don't know that that's the business of a local government to deal with.
Cities do it now, so it's not.
We're not a city, though, Jim. We don't even accept credit cards here in the town hall, so I don't even know how to even begin.
And that's to our benefit.
I mean, and I think it's a wonderful idea. I'm in full support of it, but we are not.
I was in full support of it, not for the reasons, not so much now, not for the reasons you're stating, but because I don't think we're in the ideal location for a high.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, we are part-time people. If you had a full-time financial staff and everybody else who could deal with that many transactions coming through.
I get it. I won't be hurt if you say it. I'm
Yeah.
not too.
Maybe share it with some of the local businesses in Hinckley and see if they want to pursue
This
it.
can be done by a private partner.
Yeah.
They get 80% payback, which is still substantial because they
Right.
can recoup in their charge
At least they have the information, they can make a decision for themselves.
Is 350 Hinckley interested in putting a station in somewhere?
I think we should be.
Let's talk about it.
Where are the 3 local stations you found?
Strongsville, Sheets, Middleburg Heights, Walmart, and someplace towards Akron. I don't
It's
remember
not
the place in
local.
Akron. No, they're not. They're not really close.
Yeah.
In your interstates?
Sheets would be,
Mhm.
well, not really. It has to be within 2 miles of a major interstate. So Sheets is probably within 2 miles. Middleburg Heights definitely right off the road. So. I mean, we could talk.
Something to consider.
I'm kind of of the opinion of saying we should abandon this for this go around. This is coming from the Volkswagen diesel emissions. Scandal.
The money from that makes
Billion-dollar,
sense.
multi-billion-dollar
Yeah.
settlement, and the state got so much of it, and certain percentages going to electric vehicle charging station rollout.
That makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Thoughts, forward direction, forward program.
My thought was more of my initial thought when you brought it up was not here on this location, but was offsite with a private partner. I mean, we have a service station, well, we have a gas station in town now. We used to have one directly across the street.
We would look into
You can. It's open to the public. I can give you the links, and you can watch the 2-hour webinar and learn everything you need to learn. Take that microphone, please, Mr. Pearl. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Jim, you want to zoom out here?
No, I don't want them on screen.
I'll be brief. So when the police chief gets his new electric police car and the zoning inspector gets an electric car, where are we going to charge him?
Right.
At the barber shop. Thank you.
For-profit barbershop. I think there might be other opportunities in the webinar that says that there's probably going to be other opportunities for DC charger grants in the near future. This money doesn't get spent out, so they're going to open them up to more. DC fast charge is probably what the police department would want.
I think my personal opinion is how could we not look into this further? Because eventually we're going to have a lot of township cars that are electric and maybe even a fire station or a fire.
It has to be open to the public. That's number one.
Sure, that too.
And granted, if the police department's vehicle is charging for its 40-minute hit, well, sorry, you've got the slot. There's supposed to be 2 slots per 40 minutes, so you've got that slot tied up. And, reality is eventually.
But if you have the 2 slots, you also have the wiring.
Oh, yeah.
To expand it, right.
Because that's what their expectation is, that you're going to expand 2 more because they're going to give you another grant opportunity sometime in the future to expand to 2 more.
I guess my personal opinion is we should continue to look at this.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have to resolve some credit card issues too, though. So, how is this working for a township to be taking money in like this? And it's for profit to the extent that all expenses need to be covered by people swiping their card and then gift card treatment. The township should never pay a penny of this. And no, we shouldn't be making, thousands of dollars a month on it either.
But the police chief, the police chief and the zoning inspector would also have a company, would have a township credit card.
Absolutely.
Making it easier to keep track of their.
Well, I'm not sure, because we can't even figure out how to coordinate our gas tanks, Mr. Burrows, so. Yeah, it might,
10 years down.
it may very
Supposed to
well
be
be.
working on.
My concern is the number of transactions that could occur daily, and I'm just not here.
Yeah, it's a major hurdle to deal with the accounting.
At this time, we're not here for that. I don't know. I don't even know what, it's a good question for the auditor, though.
It's also a good question for these grant administrators.
Yeah.
How do small governments handle this flow of cash and stuff? Does this go to a separate company, a contracted company? No, but see, we have to own the machinery. We could own the machinery, subcontract all of the charging, and then just take an annual kickback from that charging, if that's permitted.
Well, see, I like when we support. I like when we support others who are looking to benefit our community, just like we supported the Park District and with their acquisition, and they received that acquisition. So they have now saved over 100 acres of property because of the Township Board of Trustees support towards that grant that allowed them to secure that property. Which I don't know if I shared that with you guys or not. They did get them. Yeah, they did get that grant. So I would see this as being something very similar, that if there was someone in the community that wanted to, that was one of our downtown businesses that wanted to do that, I would be very much in favor of providing that level of support. And then if we wanted to pull our car over there, the chief said if we got a barber shop, he would stick around for a while. So, so we've already got them.
I'm not sure I'm going to be here for an electric car.
We've already got them for that. So, the next is the electric vehicles coming, and he could go over there, and while he's, getting a trim, he could get the car charged at the same time. And I mean, we pay for our gas now. What's the difference? We're paying for our fuel right now to a private company. What's the difference if we're paying for electric for a private individual? It's no different. We don't have to have it here in our parking lot.
Well, and you bring up a good point that even the metro parks might be the benefactor of this.
Again, it's that proximity to highways for people going from point A to point B.
But I could park my car, charge, and go for a walk or kayak or paddleboard or hike.
But it doesn't meet their grant criteria for that. That's not what they're looking for right now. But the corner of Center and Ridge,
it's food for thought.
Yeah.
If there's a private entity out there that would like to approach me, I will be happy to share what I know with them. And there's a 2-hour webinar. It's really thorough. It's going to answer a lot of your questions, and I'll work with you as much as we can.
I think, does that picture on the wall right there have the gas pump in the picture?
It does.
It does. That's what I thought I was looking at there.
So,
very good. Thank you, Jim. Very
some
good
things just come right back, come right back around full circle.
It's coming. It's just a matter of when and how we can best utilize the resources available, financial resources available to take advantage of it.
Wouldn't that be a story for the paper since the press is
Mr. Castle.
To your point, not to just continue this, but to Mr. Pearl's point, we're serviced right now by Great Lakes Petroleum. Okay, and they bring our fuel and stuff. That's the kind of company I think that Chris is talking about. If Great Lakes Petroleum or John Deere Financial went and applied for this grant and then asked us if they wanted to install a charging station in our service garage parking lot, then we would be a full supportive partner in that.
I think there's a number of opportunities with that, Martha.
I think that's the model that property-wise, sure, have as much space as you need to do it. But are we geared to be the, to add that onto an already pretty long list that everybody has where we're just not staffed?
This is going to swamp somebody for a month.
For
longer than that.
No, I mean, I'm talking about 30 hard days of.
There's all kinds of things that swamp trustees for a month.
They have no idea.
And you have 2 years to pull it off, too. I mean, that's how big this project would be.
Yeah, it's pretty significant.
It is. I won't discard it. I'll bring up more information at the next meeting, see what I can find out from the administrators and anyone from the public that wants to talk to me.
It's intriguing.
I'm kind of thinking more leaning towards finding a company like an EVgo or a Blink or what's the other company's name? Can't think of it. And saying, let's partner with you. We own it. You take care of it. You send us a stipend every month to cover whatever expenses we have to have.
Well, what I tell the kids at school? I tell the kids at school when it comes to scholarships, and there's a lot of local scholarships in Medina County, and I always tell the kids at school, go for the low-hanging fruit, because there may not be a lot of people that apply for these grants, just like with the grant that we received today. Had others in the county applied for that grant, we couldn't have got $3,500. They only had $4,000, I think, of money there. So I didn't want to ask for all of their money. I asked for $3,500, so because there was a limit to the funds. But had other townships applied for that grant, then that would have been spread out more. We wouldn't have received that dollar amount. So you never know. There might be other people thinking the same way we are, that they couldn't get the money because of this or that, and they might be able to get the money.
I like your low-hanging fruit analogy, except this is on top of Mount Everest.
Well,
All right. You know,
writing
it's not a dead-
writing scholarship applications is a lengthy process also,
I
let
think
me tell you.
if you would allow me, I'm going to pursue seeing if a private company like the ones I've mentioned, EVgo, you can't use Tesla. They don't want to work with Tesla because Tesla's got their own little plugs and mechanisms. They want to become generic.
Right.
To see if they can write the grant for us. We'll work with them in partnership and make this, see if they can, because they're going to have labor that we don't have to pull this off. So if it's okay with you, let me investigate that with the grant administrator and a couple of different companies.
I would support that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next.
Thank you, Trustee
Give
Riggs.
an update. Thank you. All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve Township's annual donation to the Rocky River Watershed Council.
Second.
Second for $500. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's
Thank you.
$500.
Seconded. Any further discussion? This is something that the township does to support a very important volunteer organization that takes care of our Rocky River water quality. Lets us know, lets the public know, lets the government know when there's issues with it. And they do sprint cleanups, clean up the river. So thank you for seconding that. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Thank you. There was a public hearing at the Medina County Commissioners facility on the 6th, yesterday, 6 p.m. There's a second one on the 13th. It has to do with solar wind generation siting authority, where it gives the Medina County Commissioners the ability to put language into the code where they can restrict where wind and solar power can go, basically taking away any opportunity for us, aside from maybe a variance or an appeal of some sort, to cite that for a private entity that wants to put in a wind turbine up on top of the mountain or something like that. Okay.
It's for farm.
I'll try to attend on I'll try to attend on the 13th so I can give you an update on the 21st.
And then the hearing is January. Do you have the date?
Not in front of me. I do
Okay.
not. It comes. There's a hearing and a vote that comes after this 13th, and it's at least a week away, probably after the holidays.
I believe it's January 3rd or maybe.
Yeah, I think it's right after the holidays.
I know it was right after. I just couldn't remember.
I'm more there. I'm going to be listening more than I may have public comment. I like to see less government, not more government, smaller government. So if it's overreaching, I'll let them. I'll stand up and let them know that I think it's overreaching.
I don't feel that way. And I believe just my impression is that Commissioner Hambley has, at least seems to me, has kind of taken the lead for this. And Medina County has in many cases been the one that takes the charge with issues, and the rest of the counties kind of watch what we're doing and then follow our lead. And that is what's happening right here. So there's a number of counties seeing how we're addressing this. And I think the model that they're exploring is having the Department of Planning Services, the Planning Commission, actually be some of the deciding factor with that, which only makes sense because the Planning Commission does, you have commissioners representatives, you have township representation on there, and you have representation from across the county, and that model is already in place. So you're not recreating anything. That would be just a task. If that comes up, that would be put in front of that board. So it seems to make a lot of sense to me what they're proposing, and I would imagine that others will follow our lead as they have done in many other cases around the state of Ohio.
Yeah, thanks for that insight. It's good to know. I'll take that into the meeting because I really didn't have an opinion one way or the other. I was going to work and see what's happening with it. I guess it's no different than when a new project of housing development comes into town. The Medina County Planning Commission gives us their opinion of this development, and similarly, they will do this with the wind and solar farm. And these are production farms. These are for commercial production.
Right. Yeah.
This isn't a backyard farm.
No.
So, all right. Thank you, Chris. Any other discussion on that item? No. The Gibson property donation update. There's been communications between legal counsels on both parties, so that's moving forward actually very nicely. I think we might be able to wrap this up by the next meeting.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is. Items to discuss. So here's some things that there's going to be a sign placed on the property at our expense. It should be a durable sign, something maybe it's not going to decay away. Minimum 3 feet by 3 feet. There's a short sentence or two that Mr. Gibson wants to have put on that sign indicating the donors and the recipients. who's donating it, who's receiving it. And I don't have any objection to that unless the trustees do.
No.
It's very short, maybe less than 20 words.
Are we getting the quotes for that?
We will get quotation.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I told him I'll try to get before the next meeting some idea
Okay.
where we are price-wise. If it doesn't wrap up, he doesn't care about that. He just wants us to keep moving forward.
Okay.
But if we're in agreement with a minimum of 3 foot by 3 foot sign, and he wants to place 100 feet or more north of the current Western Reserve Land Conservancy sign, not an issue for me. There's plenty of frontage there.
There's no problem at all with me.
I would just say that we need to just make sure that we're keeping our zoning department in the loop on that and we're not overstepping
With the signage.
with the signage.
Good point. I didn't think of that. Let me make a note of that. And then lastly, in this agreement, we added a clause today, Mr. Gibson and I, for our agreement, was to give us the opportunity to sell or donate this property to another conservation-minded organization like in the future, if Hinckley didn't want to deal with this anymore, Cleveland Metro Parks, Western Reserve Land Conservancy, West Creek Conservancy.
That's a great clause to have in there.
Because we might come to a point of saying, we're not going to build any trails on here, 5-10 years from now, different organization, different group of people in this frontier, and they'll give them the opportunity to go find somebody else they might want to build trails there. And he's okay with that.
Yeah.
So that's going to go in there.
And that'll further protect King Road, Mr. Pearl,
Yes, it will.
because that's where that property backs up to, all those houses on the other side of the street from your home.
Mhm.
All right.
Very good.
And then lastly, you've taken care of the motion to go in executive session for employment and compensation. And with me, I'm getting down here further. That's it. I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Catherwood.
Okay, I have several motions. The first one is to adopt a resolution approving the Medina County Auditor's Office amended certificate of available resources dated November 19th, 2021. Actually, number 6, not number 5, it's in the agenda.
Okay.
For a total amount of $9,605,972.99.
Seconded.
Well, so you're making the motion, you're moving.
Yeah.
So moved. Well, you can make it, but you're not allowed to.
I'll second.
I will move that.
Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
The second is a motion to adopt resolution 120721-06, which approves supplemental appropriation and budget amounts effective December 7th, 2021 for an amended final appropriation of $7,126,079.07. This is the final $28.95 in the CARES Act money that will be spent for Janet King COVID cleaning, so that'll have a zero balance. We don't have to send anything back to the state on that. And then this also includes the FEMA AFG grant, the $153,910.48 for the SCBA units, but that is not appropriated in this resolution. I will wait to do that in 2022.
Second.
Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
I'll have you guys sign these at the end, after the meeting's
Thank you.
over.
Thank you.
Third one is resolution 120721-8. 7, authorizing the 2022 temporary appropriations at $6,400,000.
So
Did
moved.
anybody have any questions on the temporaries?
Second.
No, I didn't.
Guess not? Okay. Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Thank you for your work on that, Martha.
Sure. Motion to approve resolution 120721-08, requesting all the available tax advances from the Medina County Auditor for the year 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, boy.
Trustee Augustine.
Yeah, I'll give that to her. Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Motion to adopt resolution 120721-09, which approves the following reallocation. $2,500 from 2192-220-318-0000, which is Fire Department Training Services, to 2192-220-212-000, $2,000, which is into Social Security, and 2192-220-213-0000, which is $500 into Medicare. Then $1,000 from Police Fund Tax Collection Fees, which is 2191-210-314-0000 to 2191-210-213-0000, which is Medicare. And then finally, $400 from 1,330-599-000 other expenses, which is the senior snowplow line, to 1,130-212-0000, $300 going into Social Security, and 1,130-213-0000, $100 into Medicare. And those are all supplementing the Medicare and Social Security lines because we increased the salary lines, but the I'm showing deficits also in Social Security and Medicare for fire, police, and the zoning board and commission lines.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded.
Kalina?
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
And that was a good catch on your number there.
191.
Yes.
Yeah, we would need to make sure we have enough money for everything this year. I need a motion to approve the annual membership with the Greater Akron Chamber for $400. This membership is required to obtain the township's medical mutual plan pricing.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's moved to carry.
And then finally, the fund status currently is $6,217,105.75, of which $1,063,954.82 are in pooled investments, and $5,153,150.93 is in available primary check.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martha.
Nope.
I'd like to open the floor up to the public here in this room. If you'd like comments or questions for the board, please come forward to the podium. Mike, can you give him the microphone, please? Thank you.
Jim Larson, 20 car. Simple question has to do with the recharging stations.
Yes, sir.
Two parts. Number one, is there any potential liability that would accrue to the township over time in the event that there's an accident, a defect, or something that would cause something to burn up or anything like that?
Great question, Mr. Larson. Since the grant seems to cover things like that, I think an insurance policy on the device would probably be appropriate. And I believe I saw a line item in the application to that effect. So carrying insurance on that machine would certainly help. And again, if we subcontracted, the way I'm thinking, to another entity, own the machinery, let them take that liability, that would reduce ours.
Okay.
That contract, that liability would then be theirs to carry.
Secondly, is there any timeline wherein the township would be required to assume maintenance responsibilities, any kind of a cost structure to carry this thing forward for whatever the lifetime
There would be.
of that device is?
By the grant requirements, we would be responsible for maintaining and keeping that machine operational, I think 90% uptime for 5 years. Any costs incurred, and there are estimates on maintenance and annual inspections, can be put into the grant dollars.
Okay.
So after 5 years, we would be having to make money, or at least this other entity would have to be able to make enough money to maintain that machinery to our standards.
In your view, if we were going to charge for recharge of whatever the cars are, would those funds be shiftable to cover those costs for the maintenance of that system or?
I don't know if I understand your question
Um,
correctly, but this is really far out there.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
You know how we're going to pursue this. We can't pursue this the way we were initially thinking, where we have a charge card or people have a charge card, they charge it, and the township gets the revenue. That's not going to work smoothly, not in this short time frame, no way. So looking at a third party to take responsibility for the only operating and maintenance of that machinery and any and all expenses regarding that, where we just have the site, we own the machines, and maybe take enough of a stipend to make it whatever cost we might incur to cover that. I wouldn't go further than telling you that.
Yeah, I was mostly interested in the liability issue.
Yeah,
That sounds like it's fairly well covered.
They are addressed in the grant as far as the first 5 years, you can put in whatever you need to make this machine operate safely, continuously. So if it's insurance policies, fine, maintenance, fine, etc.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? This time I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills and payroll for $102,717.03.
Second.
Seconded by Augustine. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. That motion has passed. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session at 8 o'clock sharp.
For
Perfect.
the purpose of,
That's already been cited.
it has been, so then we don't have to remake the motion.
We could, but there's too many items. So we have a
For the
motion.
purpose of police employment and zoning discipline
Wages and
and,
compensation.
what you said.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconded.
Thank you for keeping that legal.
We don't need to.
You already
We've already made the motion. We're reconvening. This could be a long, executive session, really couldn't tell you. So if you want to hang around, you can. We may come out and make some kind of decision. Don't know how that's going to go either. Because we have to make decisions there. We'll make decisions out here. Okay. Thank you for coming this evening. Feel free to stick around if you'd like.
You guys sign these.
Jen, I'm going to mute the internal microphones.
Okay, thank you. Jim, you're still muted.
Is there anybody else online? Is this you?
I forgot.
There are four other
Okay,
people.
so I'm going to go backwards then. We're going to redo this because I want to make sure that they heard it. And we didn't. So for the audience in the virtual world, I forgot to unmute the Zoom room. And thank you, Jen, for catching that. So we're going to back up about 1 minute. We made a motion to adjourn executive session and come back into the regular trustee meeting at 9:21. That was seconded by Augustine, and it was unanimous that we do so. And at this time, I'd like to reconvene our meeting, regular trustee meeting again at 9:21, and make a motion to hire Rob Knoll to fill the open labor position in the service department at $22.50 per hour with the start date of December 28th,
Correct.
2021. He has a 180-day probation period upon which his hourly wage will increase to $23 an hour. His employment is contingent upon passing a drug test, a background check, and the submission of his driver abstract. Second, Augustine seconds. Any further discussion, trustees?
I will note that this individual has a great background and currently is employed in similar positions, has a great education that will be an asset to our department. And I personally feel he'll be a good fit.
Becomes recommended.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much. We have a roll call. Burns, yes. Augustine?
Yes.
Kalina?
Yes.
Okay, we will notify this service superintendent to notify him to get that process moving. If there's no further discussion on any other topics, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 9:23.
And your last motion included that he'll need to pass screening.
Oh, you're
Drug
right.
testing, background and submission.
Good.
I thought I read that.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Very good.
yes, it did. If it didn't, then it's been amended and we will vote on an amended. Yes?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I read it. Anyways, so we're going to make a motion to adjourn at 9:24 p.m.
Second.
Seconded by Augustine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's adjourned. Thank you, Jen, for sticking with us.